The Sterling house was the biggest, coldest place anyone ever worked. White marble everywhere, a chandelier so big it scared you, and in the middle of all that money lived a tiny girl named Lily. She was 6. She had soft blonde hair, and she was autistic, and 5 fancy experts walked out of that house calling her impossible. That word was cruel. She wasn't impossible, she was just a scared little girl, and nobody was listening to her. Then a man named Arthur came to clean the floors at night. A single dad in a dusty gray jumpsuit and big brown boots. He didn't have any fancy training, but he had something better. He had a soft heart. If your heart is already with Lily, tap subscribe and tell us what country you're reading from. We want to know. Every night, awful things were done to that baby. They put her under bright buzzing lights. They snapped fingers in her face and said, "Look at me! Talk!" And every time, little Lily got smaller and smaller. Her hands would go up over her ears. Her eyes would fill with tears. Arthur saw it too. He'd stand by his mop, watching, and his jaw would go tight. He was a dad. He knew that face. That wasn't a bad kid. That was a hurting kid. One night he said quietly, "They're not helping her. They're breaking her." And he was right. Nobody in that whole rich house could see it. Only the man they paid to clean the floors. Then came the day everything broke open. They pushed Lily too far. Loud claps, bright lights, grown-ups cheering in her face to make her strong, and she just fell apart. She dropped onto that cold marble floor and screamed, her little hands crushed over her ears, rocking, all alone. And every expert just froze, hands over their mouths, doing nothing. But Arthur ran. He kicked off his loud boots so they wouldn't bang. He put down his keys, his gloves, everything noisy. Then he got down on the floor beside her, not touching her, not yelling. He just sat close, and soft and low he started to hum. The same little tune, over and over. That baby's crying slowed down. She started to breathe, and then, the kind of moment that makes grown people cry, her tiny hand let go of her ear and reached out for his. Comment, she reached for him, if that moment got you. Everyone gets red. Her mother saw the whole thing. Victoria Sterling was the boss of everything. Sharp black suit, never cried, never cracked. But when she came down those stairs and saw her daughter sleeping peacefully against that janitor's arm, she just broke. She walked over slow, and the tears were running down her face, and she didn't care who saw. She looked at Arthur. Then she did something none of them ever expected. She wrapped her arms around him, this cleaning man in his dirty jumpsuit, and she held on tight and whispered, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you," over and over into his shoulder like she couldn't stop. Then she pulled back, wiped her face, and said the truest thing anyone in that house ever heard. "5 smart people couldn't reach my baby. You did. Please, teach me how to be that gentle." Arthur said yes, and he asked for just one thing, to bring his own little girl, Mia. Mia came the next morning holding a box of broken crayons like it was gold, and that little girl, she was gentle just like her daddy. She didn't grab Lily. She didn't say, "Hi, be my friend." She just sat down nearby and started coloring a purple cat. She left Lily alone, and that's exactly why it worked. Lily watched her for a long, long time. Then slowly, so slowly, she pushed one green crayon across the floor to Mia. Mia smiled and colored green whiskers on that cat. And just like that, without one single word, 2 little girls became best friends. It was the kind of thing that made you turn away so nobody would see you cry. After that, the whole house started to change. Arthur and Mia went around and took out every mean, buzzing light and put in soft, warm lamps. They made Lily her own special room. Soft blankets, pillows, a light she could turn down herself. And Victoria, the big scary CEO, sat on the floor gluing little stars to the ceiling, laughing. And then one day, a sound filled that house that had never been heard before, giggling. 2 little girls laughing in a blanket fort. Victoria stood there listening with her hand over her mouth, crying happy tears. That freezing cold house had finally become a real home. Which country is reading this right now? Drop it below. Saying hello is the best part. Victoria was found crying by Lily's door one night. Real crying. Arthur sat down next to her, quiet, just like he did with Lily. Finally, she whispered something unforgettable. "The lights hurt me too, Arthur. They always have. The noise, the crowds, the tags in my clothes. My whole life I thought I was broken, so I made myself hard and called it winning." She wiped her eyes. "Watching you just let Lily be her. I keep thinking, what if somebody had done that for me?" Arthur looked right at her. So kind. "There's nothing broken in you either," he said. "There never was." And that hard, frozen woman finally started to melt. All because one gentle man told her the truth. Then trouble showed up. Richard, her ex-husband. All fake smiles and cold eyes. He got in Lily's face, snapping his fingers. "Say hi to Daddy. Come on, stop being difficult. Talk." And Lily's little hands started creeping up to her ears again. Arthur crossed that room fast. He got down between them, calm as anything, and said, "She hears you fine. She just doesn't owe you a show." Richard sneered and called him the help. But Arthur never yelled. He just stood tall and walked that man right out the door. "Come back," Arthur said, "when you're ready to love her the way she is." And Richard drove off, already planning something cruel. Subscribe if you're standing with Arthur, and tell us where you're watching from. Then came the big fancy party. Victoria had to go or lose everything. And brave little Lily lifted her chin and said she wanted to come too, to help Mommy be brave. So they got her ready with so much love it hurt to watch. A soft dress with no scratchy tags, special headphones for her ears. And Mia taught her their secret, 3 little hand squeezes meaning I'm right here. Arthur knelt down and promised, "The second it's too much, we leave. No shame. Being brave just means showing up." Lily put her little hand in his, and the whole family walked in together. Then Richard attacked. Right in the middle of everything, he blasted loud sirens and flashing lights on purpose, trying to break Lily in front of everyone and prove Victoria was a bad mom. But they didn't scatter. They circled around her. Arthur dropped down and slid the headphones on her. Mia grabbed her hand. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. I'm right here. And Victoria, in front of every rich person and every camera, got down on the floor in her beautiful suit and wrapped her baby in a big, safe hug. And inside that little circle of love, Lily was okay. She breathed. She made it through. And everybody turned and saw Richard at the controls, and they finally saw him for the cruel man he was. Richard was gone after that, chased out by his own meanness. Months later, that big cold house didn't look cold anymore. The white marble was covered in taped-up crayon drawings, purple cats, 2 little girls holding hands, a whole family made out of love instead of blood. Arthur and Victoria stood at the bottom of those big stairs, her head on his shoulder, watching Lily and Mia color on the floor and giggle. No more schedules. No more, "Look at me." Nobody asking Lily to be anything but exactly who she was. A man came to clean a stranger's floors. He stayed and built a family. And to every mama out there raising a beautiful child the world calls too much, may this soften your heart tonight, and may God send you a gentle man like Arthur, because my father wasn't that kind of man. My brother is autistic, but my father left us anyway. So, a man like Arthur, one who stays and gets down on the floor and loves a child exactly as she is the answer to a prayer I've been praying my whole life. This is the end of the story, and thank you for staying for all of it. Subscribe if it touched your heart, and tell us where in the world you're watching from. We'll be right here, waving hello.